then suddenly this huge bang, which sounded like an explosion. Front wheel curved. Hello and a warm welcome back to the Kilohertz Mercedes channel, and I hope you're all safe and well, and welcome to episode 9 of my Project C-Class series. Now, at the end of last year, I created a compilation of episodes 1 to 8 with the sole intention that I'm probably not going to be doing any updates for a long time on the car. I couldn't be more wrong. So, picture the scene. It's between Christmas and New Year, about 9 PM at night. I'm on the motorway, doing about 75, 80 miles per hour. All good, and then suddenly this huge bang, which sounded like an explosion. I was with my other half, and we had the dog in the back and all the presents and everything from Christmas, and we were all in shock. It's like, what on earth was that noise? Then I couldn't help but notice the road noise. I look up, and above me, I put my hand up, and it keeps going. The glass from the sunroof had completely come out or exploded from the car. The weird thing is, it must have fallen out of the car, and luckily no one was behind us. Otherwise, it could have been fatal, to be honest, for whoever's travelling behind us. Luckily no one was, because it was a quiet time of night, and as I say, between Christmas and New Year. So immediately try and pull over in a lay-by, and then I got in contact with Highways Agency, which is the UK's kind of government body who look after the motorways and all that kind of stuff. Reported the rough location, and well, to be honest, they didn't really care so much. So yeah, logged the call, logged the location, everything, and then I went back to the previous junction, back round again, just to make sure I couldn't see it in the road. But then after kind of the shock had subsided, I kind of realised that being it's kind of automotive glass, as soon as it hits the ground, it probably shattered anyway. So luckily, probably wasn't any issues of any cars hitting it or anything like that once it actually flown out. It's just the glass had come out. The actual mechanism and everything for the sunroof was working perfectly fine still. Now, I had noticed for a week or two beforehand that I could hear a lot more road noise coming from up here, but I didn't really give it too much thought. And back when I did buy the car initially, I did check on the MOT Checker website, and it does mention any safety recalls. Now, I did notice at the time that there was pending, and I didn't really give it too much thought. I mean, the car's actually now 20 years old. I mean, it's going to be a problem. It would have happened by now, right? I couldn't be more wrong. So doing a bit of digging, it turns out that the car's actually due a safety recall for the sunroof glass. The glue, the adhesive, over time can fail, which is exactly what's happened here. So off to my local Mercedes-Benz dealer, that's Mercedes-Benz of Cambridge, and initially I gave them a call, and they were like, I'm not really sure, just come down. So after a hell of a long wait, even though the kind of place was virtually empty, someone comes out, explain what's going on to them, and immediately they were really kind of hostile towards me. There's no way a car that old would have any kind of safety recall. So I'd actually printed out, I did anticipate this happening, so I printed out all the documentation explaining what it all is. So grumpily snatched it off me, went back into the back room. No apologies or anything, comes out and goes, yeah, when do you want it booking in? So yeah, was right after all. So a couple of weeks later, took the car down to the Mercedes dealer and booked it in for them to have a look. In the meantime though, being it's the middle of winter now, it's actually March now at time of filming this, but when this first occurred, as I say, it was just over Christmas, so beginning of January, one of the wettest times of the year in the UK. So I had to kind of gaffer tape up the roof and put some kind of clear plastic and try and get it watertight. Not only watertight, but wind resistance, because if you go kind of, you know, motorway speeds, unless it's properly taped down, it's going to fly off. So yeah, put the car in with Mercedes, and then yeah, left it with them, waited to hear from them. Another week had passed, no response. Tried phoning them, no response. The only way I got any action is I then CC'd in the sales department and all the other different ones. I went on the website to find out all the other different departments. Finally, I get a call back. Oh yeah, we have got the right part. So we have ordered a part in. We've tried to fit it, but apparently it's the wrong part, and the new part's on back order again. So I was like, you could at least let me know this, you know, to know what's going on. It's not my main car, you know, I've got the SL as well, but we do use it for family duties, and and all that kind of thing. I find it staggering. I know I've heard all these stories over the years about Mercedes-Benz dealerships being terrible, but I've never had any problems with Mercedes-Benz of Cambridge in the past. I mean, now they're operated by, I think they're called Motor One Group. Previously, they used to be Robinsons and a few other companies over the years. And I've kind of had a little bit of a rapport with, especially with the service department and what, you know, the service teams. The amount of parts I've ordered over the years, I even get like a trade discount as well. Yeah, I'm having a bit of a rant now, but it shouldn't take like 8 weeks or whatever it is to get the car back. So anyway, as you can gather, I'm driving around now with a brand new sunroof. So yeah, let me give you a close-up look of the new sunroof. Well, first of all, you can still see all the marks on the gaffer tape. This is going to take me an absolute age to get rid of this. I guess I'm going to have to heat it up or something. But yeah, anyway, back onto the sunroof itself. So they've just replaced the glass. All the original seals are still on there. They're actually in good condition, really. There is a little bit of kind of minor rust on the edge there. There's nothing to worry about. But yeah, I've tested it. It is waterproof and it all fits in perfect. And then if we just make our way inside the car. So I'll just put the ignition on. Bear with me a second. But yeah, it's all working fine. The controls are working, they've synced it up and everything. One press to get it like that, and then you press it to fully open it. And then, yeah, I'll just show you the seals again from this side. So, well, if it focuses. But yeah, it's all okay, exactly how it was before it broke. Yeah, I guess they've done a good job as you'd expect from a main dealership. It's all closing, works fine, and then the raise function works okay. So yeah, nothing too much to report. But yeah, if you're in the same boat and you've potentially got a recall due on your car, just make sure you do it. You know, it's completely free. Yes, it's a bit of a hassle to get to go down to your main dealer, but this could have potentially killed someone if there'd been a car directly behind us. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, back to normal. It's quite funny really when the sunroof's probably 3 times the value of the car. I think looking at the bill, maybe wrong, I'll put it on the screen, but I think it was about 2 or 3 grand with the parts and all the labour and everything for a car that I essentially paid £600 for. It's pretty impressive really, but I guess it's a legal safety recall. So yeah, all working fine. I won't open it now because it'll mess up with the audio and everything. But yeah, it's quite an eventful couple of weeks, also a couple of months in the C-Class. Added to which, the next issue we've had, right, if you've been following the series for a little while, you will know that the car got stuck in second gear for a little while, almost a year ago. Various different garages said, write the car off, it's not worth fixing, you can't fix it. So I got a Gearbox flush kit last year and it sorted it. Until about a couple of weeks ago, I was driving around with the tape on the sunroof, and then the same thing occurred. It struggled to go up the gears and then it just gets stuck in second gear. So I went ahead and bought again from Mercedes-Benz of Edinburgh a Gearbox replacement kit, sorry, flush kit, which is £75, and then you obviously have the labour of my garage to fit it. So it's about looking at just over £200 in total. Got the Gearbox flush done once again, and here we are, working perfectly. You may remember from previous episodes that I said I was planning to do 2 flushes really of the kit. That's kind of what you should do the initial flush and then another one to get rid of all the bits, the crap and everything, and I didn't do that. So hopefully this should sort it, and worst case scenario, I have to do it once a year. £300 to keep the car up and ship shape, it's worth it. Now my garage did comment that some of the gearbox oil was quite kind of grimy and a little bit furry with some kind of iron filings, which, yeah, normally I'd be worried. If it was a car, if it was my SL or any other car, I'd kind of worry. But this is now, it's approaching, it's actually just gone over 180,000 miles. I don't care. If I get another year or 2 out of this, great. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. And then finally, the final little update to the car. Last year I got a set of, I think the AMG Style 3 alloys, got them all refurbs. They look fantastic on the car. Now she'll hate me for mentioning this, but yeah, I lent the car to my other half, and you know what happened. front wheel curved. The annoying thing was it was a dipped curb as well, so it's like half the size, but the front corner's been curved. It's going to happen. If it wasn't going to be myself, oh well, it's not the end of the world. The car still looks great with all the wheels. It's just funny that we get all the way to Germany, do a couple of laps of the Nürburgring, come back, no issues at all, but just going round the corner, there's a curb. Always the way, isn't it? So yeah, this is the update on the car. Have I got anything else planned for it? Possibly looking at getting an Android head unit. Now this is the facelift dash. Possibly might get myself there's Android Auto units. There's a few online, but they seem to be quite early ones, and I've heard horror stories that they overheat and they get slow. Anyone out there can recommend a real usable Android Auto head unit, please let me know. Anything else really? No, I mean, as I say at the beginning of the video, I didn't really intend to make it an episode 9 for a long while, but with what's going on, yeah, about time to give you guys a bit of an update on what's going on with it. So if you enjoyed this video and this little update, please give the video a thumbs up, which does help with YouTube's algorithm and all that kind of thing. If you haven't done already, consider clicking on that subscribe button with bell icon. It's completely free, and then you'll get notified of any updates to the channel, any posts I do, and it just helps the channel grow. I'm still aiming one day to get to 100,000 subscribers. We're nearly at 60, so you never know. Until next time, thanks very much for watching. Cheers. So just before I finish this video, another little rant for you. This is what's come back from Mercedes regarding my front bumper. Now, there's a tiny little scratch on the corner, which you would have seen in, I think, episode 1 or 2, as well as some scratches on the underneath of the bumper, which pretty much every car on the road has from speed bumps and etc. They want just under £2,000, urgent apparently, to replace it. And that's before it's fitted or even sprayed. I guess they just chance their luck to see if gullible people pay these prices. Unbelievable.